Hi everyone, welcome back to DIY Beauty on Purpose. My name is Leonette and I'm so glad that you are here with me today. I have for you some really cool, very inexpensive farmhouse style DIY decor I know you're going to love. All right, so we are going to get started here really quickly, but I just wanted to give you a close-up of all the items that we're going to be working on today. These are all wood items, which is kind of like what I wanted to go with the theme. It's going to have a very heavy farmhouse style once I redo them. All right, so this basket was only $2.99. I thought it was such a great deal, such good quality. I gave it a good scrub. And then I'm going to use something completely different. I'm going to use some of this cooking spray, and I am going to spray it randomly just on the top rim and the handle. I do want to give it a very distressed look, and that's going to give it where the paint's not going to stick and it's going to come off right off when I'm distressing it. I am then going to paint it, giving it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white, and I'm going to paint all of it except the inside basket. I'm going to leave that as is. Once it was dry, it was time to add a stencil. I'm actually going to, I used my Cricut to cut out the phrase, "There's no place like home," and I cut out 4 of these. I ended up using only 3, but I'm going to place them all around the top rim in different areas, and then I am going to stencil it using Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the Country Gray. As I removed the stencil, you can see that the paint removed quite a bit, and that's fine. That's because I did spray it with the cooking spray. I'm going to take a wet rag now, and I'm just going to remove a lot of that paint. And the reason why I added the stencil before I distress is because I do want the stencil to also be distressed. I want everything to look like it was like this for many years originally, and through the years, it distressed naturally. I'm going to just start removing a lot of that paint. We're going to give this basket a very heavy distress, making it look very farmhouse, very old. Then I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm just going to speed up the process of drying it because I did add a lot more water to it with the wet rag. I just want it to dry quickly. And then I sprayed it with the Rust-Oleum spray top coat just to seal everything. Let me remind you what it looked like before, and this is what it looked like now. I think it's so adorable. I have it staged like a little basket in a living room or a bedroom with a magazine and a remote control, but I think it would look great as a stencil holder or any other decor in your home. For the next farmhouse style DIY, I'm going to take this little wooden basket. I think it's so adorable. It's actually not as heavy duty as it seems, even though it is wood. I did remove the metal pieces from it, and now I'm going to sand everything down, removing a lot of the finish that it already has. I thought it looked great the way it was, but I do want it to have a lighted wood tone. I'm not a big fan of darker wood tones, so I'm just going to lighten it up, and then I'm going to dust it really well, and I'm going to use a technique to distress it that I have used several times, which is scraping the paint on. It's just where I take a scraper and I add a very little amount of paint right on the edge, right on the tip, and then I scrape it on. This is going to make it look like the paint has been on for many, many years, and it has chipped and distressed through the years. If you have any questions regarding the scraping the paint on technique, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to help you. But it's so easy. You can put on as little or as much paint as you want on the tip. And I actually did it all over the basket except the inside and the bottom. If you are enjoying this video, I would love for you to give me a like. A thumbs up helps my channel grow, helps this video reach more people. Also, if you really enjoy the video, I do now have an option for a thanks heart. If you look right to the right side of the like button, you'll see that there is a thanks heart. So if you really like it, I would appreciate one of those as well. I'm going to take my sanding block and I'm just going to smooth it out just a little bit. I don't want to remove any of the paint, just want to smooth it out. Then I'm going to take 4 of these pipe holders and I am going, they're like clamps. You can get them at the hardware store as well as Amazon. I get mine on Amazon and I do have them on my Amazon store. I'm going to place 2 on each side just like you see there. And then I'm going to place some nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to knot it. I'm going to make sure that both of them are the same length. And this is going to be my little handles for the basket. I did add a stencil to the front of the basket. It says wash your hands. I did cut it out with my Cricut. I don't know where that footage went, but it was just a simple stencil that I cut and it says wash your hands. And you're going to see it in the end here. But I do have that stencil on my Etsy shop. So make sure that you check it out after you're done watching this video. It is linked down below. And we're just about done with this one. I think this one is one of my favorites today. I just love the wood tone with the distress. It looks so farmhouse and almost has a little beachy vibe too. I really like it. This is what it looked like before and this is what it looks like now. I absolutely love the way this basket turned out. I think it's stunning. I think it's so farmhouse and it will look great in a bathroom, living room, kitchen, anywhere in your home. For this next DIY farmhouse style decor, I am going to take this cabinet door. It's one of those thinner ones. There was nothing on it to be removed, so I just quickly gave it a good scrub. And now I'm going to give it one very sloppy coat of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. Then I'm going to take some Mod Podge and I am going to start heavily applying Mod Podge on top. I am just literally applying it. It's quite heavy because we're going to give it a crackle look. Then I'm going to use Milk Paint by Rust-Oleum and this is their highlight blue. It is a beautiful blue and I'm going to again just heavily apply it right on top, but trying to not overbrush so that it doesn't mix too much with my Mod Podge. So I'm just basically applying it on, making sure that it covers, but not over applying or not over brushing it so that it doesn't mix up with my Mod Podge too much. And then it's time to just grab the heat gun. The heat gun is going to allow that Mod Podge to dry quickly and crackle on me. Have you ever used this technique? Let me know in the comments if you've ever used the crackle technique. This was actually my very first time using Mod Podge for crackle. And I like it. It really was easy to do. You're going to start seeing here the paint just crackling. Look how beautiful that crackle looks. It just looks like the paint has been on this frame here for so long and it has crackled over the years naturally. It just looks awesome. All right, so it's basically done. I'm gonna let it dry even more, but I'm just touching up little by little wherever I see kind of like too much white. So not the crackle white, like that I love. What I mean by too much white is like right here. Oh, where is that? See how it just has like these weird, so I'm just touching up very dry brush, like hardly any paint. And it is painting a little bit over the crackle. I'm okay because I wasn't looking for crackle all over the board. So I'm just loving, like, look at this. Isn't that just awesome? So I did touch up some of the corners and that, and again, I'm okay with that. I'm not looking for all crackle, but I think the crackle that I'm seeing is perfect. So here's another one. You see that corner right there, how it just looks like it's missing paint, not that it cracked. So I'm just gonna, again, just kind of dry brush a little bit. Even if it paints a little bit over the crackle, I'm okay with that. I did let this frame dry completely overnight, so that way it was completely dry, because between the Mod Podge and the paint, it was very thick. So now I'm going to take this leftover wallpaper that I recently used in my kitchen, and I'm just going to take a strip and place it right in the center, right in that area where it's indented. And I'm just going to use my little scraper here and my X-Acto knife to get it as close as possible to the edge. I think this looks so stinking cute. I love that the paint looks so crackled and old, but yet that wallpaper looks a little bit modern. It just gives it that contrast. I really like that. I'm going to take these little hooks. These are like coat hooks that I get on Amazon. I do have them on my Amazon store. If you've never checked out my Amazon store, it is linked down below. Check it out. I have a lot of supplies there. My favorite items, whether it's paint and tools and whatever it may be. Check it out. Again, it is linked down below. So these hooks I got there, it comes 10 in a box, and I'm going to use 4 of them. And I'm just going to start screwing them in using my drill here. And I am going to just place 4 of them right on the bottom. And now I am going to touch up these screws. I didn't have any black screws that were thick enough for this board, so I'm just going to use some Waverly ink paint, and I'm just going to touch up the top of the screws. I'm going to remind you what the board looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. Isn't it beautiful? I love this color. But you know what I love? I love the crackle look. I'm going to give you a little bit of a close-up here so you can see. Look at that. It is stunning. I just love that natural look of distress it has. For the next DIY farmhouse decor, I am going to take this little board, such an easy, simple DIY to make. I'm going to remove the French, I think it says bienvenue. So I think it says welcome, but I'm just going to remove it and lighten up again this piece of wood. I just love the way that natural lighter wood tone looks. And I'm using my palm sander and a 220 grit sandpaper. And then I'm just going to wipe it. This is a dry rag, just to remove any dust from it. Using my Cricut, I cut out the phrase Home Sweet Home, and I am going to place it towards the right side of the board. And I'm going to stencil it using a Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white and a makeup sponge. I also have the stencil vinyl in my Amazon store. This stencil vinyl is phenomenal. It works really well. It is specifically for stenciling, and it sticks to the surface really good. As you could tell, I can't even take my my pieces of vinyl out. But anyways, it's really good. It's linked down below in the description box. All right, so I'm going to take this tiny little mini wreath. It's the cutest little thing ever. I got 3 for $3 in a little packet. Actually, I got several, but they come 3 in a packet at the Target dollar spot. I'm just going to screw it to the left side of the board. And then I'm going to make a very simple double loop bow using some jute string, tie it in the middle, and then I'm going to hot glue it right on top of that screw to cover it up, because it just, you can see it and I don't like it. So once it's screwed on, it is completely done. But I do want to remind you that this board, the entire sign is on my Etsy shop. It's only one of them because it's one of a kind. So if you're interested in purchasing it, if it's still there, check it out. Again, it is linked down below. I'm going to remind you what the board looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. It has a fresh, new farmhouse style look. It's beautiful. This board is so cute. Again, it is in my Etsy shop, so make sure you check it out. Okay, so I am totally second guessing myself when it comes to this piece. I had all these plans for it, and now I'm just doubting myself. So let's just see how things unfold. I'm gonna take everything apart, unscrew this. I'm just gonna kind of see where it leads me and hopefully come up with something. I don't know. All right, so as I mentioned, I am just going to remove this wine bottle portion of it. I did remove the price tag. I'm just going to use some Goo Gone. Have you ever used Goo Gone? It's really good to remove stickiness from anything. So I would highly recommend it. But anyways, I wiped it off and now I'm just going to unscrew the 4 screws and then remove that top portion and then also remove the red board. We're not going to use that. I'm going to use those 2 portions in another DIY on another day. But for now, we're just going to keep this black surface, the bottom one. I'm going to give it a good scrub and then sand it down just a little bit to smooth it out. This board actually has a lot of texture. It may not look it, but it actually has a lot of texture on the corners, on the sides. So I just sanded it down a little bit because I don't want to remove a lot of that texture because we're going to heavily distress this for a farmhouse look. Now I'm going to give it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white.
It's 2 a.m. and I can't fall asleep 'cause I'm not tired. I'm thinking about the days we used to share.
Using my Cricut once again, I cut out the phrase "love served daily" because we are going to make a serving tray, like a little tray where you could display foods and things like that. Now, I made a mistake where I did not leave enough space between each word. I thought I did, and then I realized that I didn't. And so anyways, I'm going to show you how I fixed that. But if I were to do it again, I would separate each word a little bit more. Obviously, I had room. I don't know why I didn't. But nonetheless, we just move on, right? We learn from our mistakes. I stenciled it with a makeup sponge and Waverly chalked ink paint. And see how you could tell like the words it just looks like a whole word instead of 3 words. To fix that, I took a paint marker from Artisa and I just placed little dots in between each word. Hopefully this will make it a little bit more differentiable and each word will look like a word instead of one long huge word. Using my palm sander, I am going to distress the board pretty heavily right on the edges and on top of it. I want this board to be very distressed and have a very heavy farmhouse look. I am going to wipe it down really well, remove all the dust, because I am going to seal it using my Vermilion polyurethane. I use this a lot with my furniture, and I'm also going to use a sponge applicator. I love these. They come in a circle, 2 in a pack, and I cut them in half, and you basically wipe it on. It is awesome. Now on the words, because the the polyurethane will activate the paint, I just wipe it on once and let it be. I don't over wipe on the words because it will spread on me. So I'm just going to wipe it. I'm going to give it 2 coats and let it dry. Then I'm going to use some of these handles that I get on my Amazon store. I love them. I get them on Amazon, but they are on my Amazon store. They come in a packet. I think it's like maybe a 5 or 6. I'm not sure, but it's really good quality, a very good deal. I'm going to place 1 on each side again to make it look like a little serving tray.
I told you that we should start a band and reach for the sky. It's 2 a.m. and I can't fall asleep. I'm just not tired.
To finish everything off, I'm going to place 4 of these felt pads right underneath. This is so that way if it's placed on any surface, it's not going to scratch it up. I am going to sell this one in my booth, so I want to make sure that no one's surface is going to get scratched up. This is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. I love it. I wish I would have separated those words more, but I think putting the dots in between helped. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Did it help or does it still look crazy? But overall, I love the way it turned out. But this is it for today, my friend. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it inspires you to create your own DIY farmhouse style decor. If you're visiting for the first time, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you consider joining our YouTube family. If you are returning, welcome back. I love you. You're so supportive. I so appreciate you. As always, I'm going to have a playlist and a video here with tons more farmhouse inspiration for you. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.